Leaders and elders from the Southeast, Southwest, South-South, and Middle Belt region, represented by Ohaneze Indigbo worldwide, Afenifere, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, and the Middle Belt Forum, have called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to focus on restructuring Nigeria to save the democratic principles. The country's elder statesmen made this known in a communique issued at the end of their meeting held in Abuja after the Supreme Court judgment affirmed the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the February 5th presidential election. While expressing concern of the state of the nation, the forum said certain regions of the country, including the Southeast, are not properly represented in government. As they said, Nigeria must give equity and equality and a sense of belonging to all citizens. The communique read that the federal government should, as a matter of urgency and priority, work towards the restructuring of the country and enthrone true federalism as was originally entrenched in the 1960 and 1963 Constitution. The communique also said that with the outcome of the 2023 general election, it commends the political class, especially the 2023 presidential candidates in the 2023 presidential elections, for their recourse to constitutional means in redressing their grievances, and called on all of them to join hands now that the issue is over and help build a stronger and better Nigeria. The views expressed by the elder statesmen seems to also be re-echoing the feelings of Nigerians who have more stake ahead, and also stating their expectation from President Tinubu after the Supreme Court judgment. But the big question and the big story for today is, what should this administration do to help heal and unite a very divided Nigeria that is not just coming, or rather that is just coming out of a very bitter electoral process? And what should this government do to help satisfy the expectations of Nigerians? Well, these and more as it concerns Nigeria's expectation from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after the Supreme Court judgment will take center stage on the show today. And that is Nigerians' expectation after the Supreme Court judgment. That's what we're looking at today on the big story. We're looking at, after the Supreme Court judgment, Nigerians' expectation, especially from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And to truly help us talk about this, we have no other person but a guest in the house. Well, he is no other person but a member for good governance and the enthronement of democracy in the country. And I'm talking of Comrade Emeka Wokocha. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Mike. Thank you for having me.
Now, before we go to Nigerians' expectations and requests of the elder statesmen from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want us to first start with the call for unity after the Supreme Court verdict on Thursday affirming President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's victory. Now, that call seemed to be loudest, especially coming from former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, as he visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a day after that Supreme Court judgment affirming his victory. Now, I'll just take what he said. Now, according to Jonathan, he said, there is a need to end the tension and move forward together as Africa's most populous black nation. Now, my question is, do you feel there's this is one of the most bitter election in the country history, especially after coming back to democracy in 1999? And why is it turning out to be a very bitter one for all Nigerians? And a follow-up question to that, my initial question, is it just a call for unity that would definitely unite a divided nation at the moment? Is a call just enough to really divide, to rather unite that great division on different political lines?
Mr. Mike, you see, that statement from Jonathan in an other way, meaning Nigerians as it were, to ensuring that the bond, that hold us together, must be sustained in as much as we are surviving, you know, as a sovereignty.
Yes.
You see, Nigeria is a state. There's no doubt about that. Nigeria is a country. There's no doubt about that. But for you, you know, to build, you know, the nationhood, you know, you must ensure that all the diverse ethnic groups, you know, must be brought into one table, into one agreement. Because you could remember in 1914, you know, when during the amalgamation, right, we have the Southern and Northern Protectorates, you know, and these are people of diverse culture, diverse religion, diverse interest. So when you bring these people together, what will actually hold them together, you know, is that nation building. Everybody must have a buy-in into that structure, into that entity called Nigeria. So, and when you agree that yes, we have had an independence and we must agree to be together, the constitution must capture all these diversities and, you know, a kind of design in such a way that every person must feel relevant in this structure or in this entity. Now, for we to survive as a country, for we to move forward, for we to have a departure from what Chief Awolowo described Nigeria to be a mere geographical location or expression, as it were, that means we must ensure that every entity, every ethnic group that cut across board, you know,
be represented,
has
a stake
in this project called Nigeria. But after 63 years, Mr. Ahmed, the question you're asking is, are we truly a nation? Have we actually achieved, you know, these laudable goals that informed the nationalists to fighting strongly and wresting independence from the imperialists? So are we actually moving forward? Would every Nigerian across board say, yes, I'm happy that I'm a citizen of this country and I am, you know, getting what is due me in terms of good governance? So that is where the clarion call for the unity of this country is that the governments in place should be able to ensure that they run the administration of this country in line with the constitutional provisions of the 1919 Constitution.
I agree with you on that because because that's one of the major things former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said, especially after that visit to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in giving him more of a congratulatory message. But I'll still bring you back to my question because, like he said, let's end the tension. It's time. After that judgment, let's all end the tension. And most especially, let's work together, which is the unity you're talking about. Yes. But my question still remains, do you feel, because we're all coming out from an election cycle, that's what's bringing the tension. And we could also understand, even before on Thursday, the tension was so heightened. So my question still remains, do you feel this is one of the most bitter elections we've ever had since the return of democracy? Hence the calling for calm down, remove the tension, and let's move forward.
We've had worst case scenarios before now.
But what's making
this particular one we had recently, you know, seems to be the worst because the expectations of Nigerians were very high. And again, there has always been, you know, the promises, you know, from the angle of government that we are going to get our electoral systems right. We are going to fix it. We are going to tie all the knots and ensure that we give Nigerians a credible election. Because the essence of good governance starts with credible election. So if you didn't get it right there, don't expect anything good governance. Now, and Nigerians had been in the lurch over the years, hoping that a day will come when we would get out of this quagmire. And the government came with a lot of promises, plethora of promises. And it didn't end there. We still saw, you know, the signing into law of the electoral bill, which automatically Nigerians now felt that it was now Uhuru. That actually we have gotten it right. In as much as we had that electoral laws, that means the election we shall be having following the electoral law will be seamless, free from those shenanigans, you know, that had been the ugly stories in the past. But it will surprise you, despite all the noises, despite all the placations and whatever beautiful expletives, that they use, to guide all their policies and principles. We did go to voting, and at the end of the day, the people actually exercise their franchise, and the people show the will and zeal to ensure that we take this country from the old path to the new direction where everybody can say, yes, we have gotten the best, and the people's vote should speak this time. And at the end of the day, what we are saying here is that despite what the INEC would come to tell you in the open, the question Nigerians were asking was that at the end of the day, the promises you made to us that these are going to be, the system, how you're going to conduct, did you actually follow them? And these things were dotted and signed and sealed and presented to us that yes, this is the standard which we keyed into. So at the end of the day, did you follow them? You cannot. So
do you feel that was bringing the bitterness?
Actually, why would you not bring the bitterness? I told you that these people had been in the lodge
for years.
They had been in a fallen hope. A people who have been, a kind of denied the opportunities, to good governance over the years. The cries had been there, silent voices. So at this point, they felt that we were about getting it right, and it was crystallized by what? By the electoral law that was signed. And you could remember, the tortious, processes that saw to the signing of that bill. So automatically, we expect that anything that comes out of that, would be the statute that will take us to the promised land.
So you feel it was promises not kept?
It was actually promises not kept, because INEC itself have actually accepted. Because if you listen to what Mahmoud said in the runoff election coming, that we are going to improve on the lapses. So they accepted that they had lapses, but the part is that they might not tell you that that election was fraught with fraud. They will definitely defend it. But what we are saying, the lapses we are saying that you guys experienced, why would such lapses come when actually you were given everything, logistic or whatever, to ensure that you conduct a free and fair election? And beyond the Nigerian media scene, beyond Nigeria, when you read about Nigeria this past election from the international viewpoint, you'll be surprised at what you are going to be saying. You'll be surprised at the facts being presented back. So that will be telling you that actually things didn't go well. No matter how they want to bend it, no matter how
okay, now phrase it. Yeah, you said that
in the bitterness.
That is still been expressed. You really elaborated on that and giving us a reason you feel Nigerians are coming out from a very bitter election cycle. But let's come now to how it is. Irrespective of whether that victory or that Supreme Court, Apex Court judgment on Thursday, many Nigerians are still greatly grieved on both the electoral process and the court judgment. Let's be frank with it. Many Nigerians, as of this morning, are still not happy with the electoral process and also what they got from the court. But my question is, what do you feel needs to be done to help put that bitterness away? Because you can only move forward if you let go of the bitterness and the pain. And everybody will agree that after the court judgment, it is now time we sit down as a people and move ahead. We cannot grieve forever. So what do you feel needs to be done? And a follow-up to that question. Now, do you feel if these issues, like you raised initially about our mistrust of the electoral process, do you feel if these issues are not perfectly handled, it, in the foreseeable future, will definitely affect subsequent elections in the coming years?
It will affect the one coming less than a month now. If you recall, President Musa Yar'Adua told Nigerians
of blessed memory.
Bless him. Though I am the president of this country, but I want to present myself as a clear Nigerian. That I know that the process that brought me in was fraught with a lot of inadequacies. He made this pronouncement to Nigerians. That pronouncement served as a placebo. It served as a soothing balm that the man at the helm
could admit,
instead of glorifying the process has come to telling us that I am sorry, but I am not the one, that brought me in here. The system,
he's a beneficiary.
I will tell you from what I have seen, the system was fraught with. He now did the promise. I will fix it. Going forward, I will ensure that this system is cleaned up. And I will ensure that Nigerian electoral process will throw up the best when Nigerian votes would count. Quite unfortunate that he died. So, we will expect the man at the saddle. You will not tell me that President Bola Tinubu didn't know or does not know that the election that brought him in was fraught with a lot of inadequacies. Mr. Mike, he cannot tell me. He is a man of good conscience, he knows. Behind the scene, he should know. So the promises should be, yes, I am here, in as much as nobody is infallible, no system is infallible. We have accepted our mistake. Yakubu has come to telling us now that, yes, there were faults which we are going to work on and improve on. I am going to run on that pedestal. Nigerians, please give me your support. I am going to, clean the audience table. I am going to, retool the system, reject the system to ensure that in the next election, your wishes and aspirations, will be done.
So you feel if he says that,
he should say
will
that.
help to
If he
reduce
does say that,
bitterness.
if he does say that, Nigerians will recall. They will begin to look at it from another angle, because human beings are given options. A sinner will be given a window for repentance, because I have told nobody is infallible. We could make mistakes, but we are saying that in the course of nation building, we must improve on our faults, improve on our failures. But it is when you seem to present yourself as a saint, when we know that you ain't even near being a saint, that is where you are going to incur the wrath of the people. And having done that, having made that statement, we should expect him to match his words with action. His policies should be designed and tuned towards achieving that he has said. It shouldn't be mere rhetorics, because most times they will just come here and speak beautiful English and it ends there, trying to control.
So it should match his words with action.
And begin, when Nigeria begin to see the president as the president of Nigerians, not Bola Tinubu any longer, not Jagaban any longer, but a Nigerian who has come to fix the ills of this country, he will end the support of the Nigerians, even those who are aggrieved. Because apparently we are not pulling the nation hand now. The nation is still running. The office of presidency is still running. You can't remove him. He is the president of this country today. There's no doubt about that. But what happens after that pronouncement is what would either make us or mar us, and everything lies on his table.
Okay, now talking about lying on his table, I will plead with you. Okay, we need, let us see if we ask this final question before we go on a quick break. Now, okay, my PD is saying we need to go on the break. We'll come back and have more, because we still have more questions centered on that very statement coming, or rather communique coming from not just PANDEF, but Nigerian Middle Belt Forum, Ohaneze, Ndigbo, and FM&TV. All the other statements had that meeting immediately after the pronouncement of Bola Ahmed Tinubu being the winner, especially as it concerns the Supreme Court. And many came, especially many call from them. We'll be looking at all of that as we also look at other expectations Nigerians are also seeking from this administration. Let's go on a break.